Welcome back to the Duel Alliance podcast. Your host Alicia Solomon and myself, Megan Hines. Where every week we talk the challenge, and we're still on Challenge World Championships episode 6. And we had to bring back guests. We had a great time with him last season on 38. We have to bring him back for the juice that has been the last couple episodes. So I'm excited that Grant is here with us to talk about this episode.
Sorry, we don't have any editing to put round of applause, but please know that we love you and we're screaming black joy right now.
Yes.
Love y'all too. Thank you for having me as always.
Yeah, awesome. What's your quick thoughts of the season, real quick, before we get into this episode? Like, who are your favorite people? What do you think of what's happening so far?
I'm liking it. I don't know. Like coming into it, because of course we all follow and know so and so's gonna be on it. So coming into it, I was excited because I was like, I like some of the people that are coming through, and then like a lot of the other people I didn't watch the other shows, like the ones that were in the different countries. So I was excited to see who is actually really gonna be on here and then what they're gonna be. And there's a couple people that have impressed me that I didn't really have much of, I guess, an expectation of what they would be in terms of if they actually would be good. Zara being one of them. That girl, she's a beast. Looking at her, you wouldn't think she would be, but she was. But yeah, I root for the black people. Everybody black. That's really it. Like Darrell,
Her.
Naya. I was mad when Naya went home. But Naya, Darrell, Theo, Danny, that's my boy. Danny's my favorite this season. He's owning the show this season, so I'm excited. I just hate his partner.
Same.
Can't stand her ass.
Say it louder.
I can't stand her ass.
I just have last week back in my head because I said I support women's wrongs and rights, but I don't like that woman. And it was the last week of Women's History Month, and I'm like, why did I say that? But that's so.
Yeah.
But it was
True.
Take away
You
her
mentioned
rights, because honestly, she don't deserve it.
She is
Like
so
she
irritating.
just don't.
She is her. I mean, I'm telling you, her and Casey, them two, they drive me crazy.
yeah. So we're gonna get into this episode where we had the cliffhanger from last week, where we had Darrell and Kiki have sole power to pick who goes against Wes and Zara, and because people didn't use democratic process, as TJ said, and because of the stalemate from last week, Darrell and Kiki picked Ben and Casey to go into elimination. Darrell was like, hey, because he was trying to mess with the country, I'm not having this, so Ben and Casey gotta go in.
I'm here for it. I wish it was a different elimination because if them two against Weston and Zara, if it could have been something, I don't know, if it could have been something different, maybe with speed, Weston and Zara could have beat them. But I don't know. I like Darrell throwing Casey in there though, and I don't like Ben either. Like watching him on Survivor, did not like him. So I was okay with them being thrown in there. Like chances of them going home, I was like, good, let's get him out.
Yeah. Well, we're not big on Casey either, so that's fine. And I think Ben, from his first season, seeing him on USA, he just rubbed me the wrong way after he won against people that he was quote unquote cool with. Like once you start crossing people the way he did, I just really can't mess with you. Even though he's from Survivor, even though that's how they play the game, really doesn't matter. It just shows a lack of integrity, just period, in your character that I really can't fool with. So, you know, I was actually surprised. I really thought they were gonna go like Jordan and Cass, maybe take out another stronger team, just because Wessons are Jordan Cass, that was like names that were thrown around. But it does make sense
Mm-hmm.
that he went after the Aussies in lieu of Kiki being his partner. But yeah, I was like, wait, what? Like it kind of, I forgot about the episode. And shout out to Paramount for putting recaps in the beginning of the episodes, because someone like me who completely throws it in the trash bin of my mind after I watch the episode, I need a recap. I need to catch me up on what happened. Like I need to forget. A week has
For real.
happened. I've lived my life in a week, and a lot can happen. So I love the recaps in the beginning of it, and I was like, oh really? Ben was talking some shit. Like Ben was on some other some next shit, and they had to get him
Mm-hmm.
out of here. So I'm glad Darrell took his shot.
I agree on that recap stuff because I literally had to. I kid you not. When I got home, I came home and watched the episode again because I almost forgot it just from watching it yesterday. I was like, let me refresh myself on what really happened. But yeah, I agree. But yeah, Ben, man.
A shiesty fellow, very shiesty fellow.
Mm-hmm.
But him and Casey are playing Wes and Zara and Herculaneum Strafe, where one team member must hold up two weighted bars for as long as possible, and a partner will be solving math equations to add weight to the opponent's bars. Easier equations add about 11 pounds, and the harder equations add 22 pounds. The last player holding up their bars wins elimination for their team. And once I saw that both Casey and Zara were going to be the ones holding the weights, I'm like, Dawson prayers for Zara because she looked like a straight B.
Like, it's over. Grand opening,
They
grand
set
closing.
her up.
Come on now. Like, it was
They set
completely over
her up.
before she started. I like the girl weighs what 100 pounds soaking wet. Like, even though she's strong and she's been killing the challenges, it's no way in
No
God's green
way.
earth that she was going to hold up weights continuously. And I hated that for her just because one, that's not fair to her, but whatever, it is what it is. But then also her having Wes as a partner and it being math and Wes swearing he's the next version of Isaac Newton, like that really blew my, because I'm like, bro, you could have really just tried to go for the red so that you can get more weights on Casey and get her out of here quicker, because
Mm-hmm.
your girl is going to be struggling off of just one other weight added. And
Right.
it was just her demise, honestly. It was not their elimination.
And that was the thing because Ben was throwing them heavier weights. Like he had them red ones that was probably like 35, 45 pounds. And I was looking at Wes's and he was throwing them blue ones that was thin, like maybe 10 pounds on Casey. And it's like, I was sitting there thinking too, I'm like, what if they reversed the roles and had the men over there? But then she was talking to Zara talking about how she was dyslexic. So she was at a disadvantage regardless, which
Yeah.
sucked. Because I'm like, damn, out of all eliminations they could have gave them, she was fucked either way. Like she really couldn't figure it out. And I agree because West could have, as much as West like prides himself on being that politician and just knowing what to do with the game, you would think in terms of numbers, like you stated, he should have went for them ones that was gonna put more weight on Casey and get her ass out of
I don't know how Casey would have done with that math though. She's not good with math either. So
there. It's true. I don't know. They
It
might
would
have
have
been
just
next day.
it would have just been Wes and Ben holding it out on weights. Like, I would have rather seen that than to
Yeah.
see these two at it, because it's clear as day that Casey has an advantage on Zara in terms of weight
Mm-hmm.
class. Like, it's not even a comparison, and I don't want to hear nothing about competitiveness. Like, bro, she can't hold something that's like 100 pounds like heavy in her. Like, it's not happening.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
and let's see. Okay, so as the guys kept continuing to wait, we saw Zara obviously lose some sense of hold on the weights. At one point, she just falters and she falls, and Casey just is doing this with ease and wins this for her and Ben. That was that. This wasn't that great of a nation. Like in totality,
Yeah.
it wasn't.
It should have been like a. I don't even think it had an equalizer in it. Really, now I'm sitting here thinking about it because it's like give them a chance to at least find a way to might possibly. That's kind of like the elimination that I had with Sylvia. Even though I was a okay with that because I didn't like Sylvia either, and I always want Nia to win. But
Right.
that one was super quick. Like it was like just that one little fixing the puzzle and then just
Throwing, yeah.
slingshot, and that was it. And I'm
Yeah,
like, I
yeah.
hate those type of eliminations. Like if anything, give them something with endurance. That would have been better suited because you got Casey who played football. Like she knows what strength training is. You got Zara. I don't think she does strength training, but you can tell she's a runner. Like she does endurance. Casey plays football. That's endurance too. You playing a game for damn near 2 hours. So make them do that. That's what I would have liked, but I don't know. I didn't like the
I
elimination.
actually like the elimination itself, like the idea of it, but the competitors need to be better suited for it. Like, it just
Mm,
wasn't a fair fight in terms of those two. But if there were like two women who were going at it that had a good weight class, and then
mm,
two men, whoever, does the math and does the holding, it depends. But it's a good elimination to start with because it's different than something we've seen in a minute because they always do the same thing over and over. But
Yeah.
I just think that in terms of weight class, it just wasn't like well suited and well rounded. So I mean, I'm sure we're
Yeah.
gonna see it again, but I just hope it's better people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
And yeah, and on Wes's way out, he told the MVPs that they deserve to be in the game. And he said to give their partners hell, essentially.
Like, just go home. Take your trophy and go home. Take your ball and go home. We don't need to hear your speech. We don't need to hear you wrap it up. Like, they don't need your pity. They don't need your pat on the back. Like, you really,
Right.
like, come on now. Get out of here. I would have just been like, go home, Roger. Like, take your ball home and go.
And that's that thing with them vets, though. It's like I don't like how they had that superiority complex. It's like, yes, you've done a million of these, but you can tell they just think like, I'm your godfather. I'm gonna tell you what it is. We see it later on in the episode. We'll get to it, but I can't stand that, especially the ones that don't deserve it. Wes, essentially, he kind of can because he's a real vet. Like he's been here for a while. But I don't like that stuff either. If I was a rookie in there and I was one of the newer ones in there and they was talking the shit to me, I'd have been looking at him like, nigga, get on. Like, bye. Like, why are you talking? You just got eliminated. Bye. Stop talking to me.
Facts. Facts.
Yeah. So I'm like, they did what they had to do. They got a big person out because we knew like they're trying to get Jordan or Wes out. And hey, Wes just had a bad day and they got him out. Good riddance. Because that little ginger man is a menace and I don't want to see him ever again. So we no. And then we see no, they will not. They will not do that. They're gonna call him for whatever they need him for. And I'm like, hey, don't bring him back ever again. Like he can retire. Both him and that banana can retire at this point. So
yeah. Because he's irritating. Because when he came back, I was low key excited when he came back last season on the main show. Because I was like, maybe he's gonna come back and try and infiltrate that vacation alliance that they got going on. Maybe he's gonna try and like get the rookies to go against him. And what he do? Infiltrate himself. And I mean, fuck him. Get him out of here.
Yeah, like that's something that Wes would have done. Like Wes early on, because he wasn't in the good graces of Bananas and CT and those guys, he would try to get the rookies against those guys so that they can take them out and he can try to overcome and try to be that one guy. And now that he's been cool with Bananas in the past couple of years and they've had this little budding bromance, it's been the opposite side, which is like something we don't want to see because it's not bringing anything but just pasty on my screen. Like, get out of here. Like, pack it up.
It's boring. It's boring. Period.
and then we see Grant and Emily talking to Sarah and Danny about Ben, and Sarah said that Ben will spiral and wear everybody out because we know how Ben is, and it's not going to look great for him if he continues down this path because, like I said, he's shiesty. And it's not gonna look good.
That's a fact. That's the thing with Sarah Lucina. I don't like her ass either as a person, but I cannot tell you her on this challenge. It was last season too, on the Challenge USA, and then on this show. I don't know what it is about her, but watching her play this game, I hate how much I love watching her play this game because she don't care at all. She's the type of player that the show needs.
I feel like she's like it's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Right.
Right. She's definitely that.
A necessary evil that I can deal with because she's going against the green and I love it. Ben and Casey also pulled Darrell and Kiki for a chat about why they were chosen. And Darrell said he told him, I don't know. I just picked the name.
Darrell is so funny. First of all, why is his collar pop like that? Like that just blows my mind. Darrell, like unpop your collar, please. Number two, I feel like Darrell needs to have a better poker face because although he was trying to stay low in terms of not seeing the complete reason why he chose Ben and Casey, it's like, clearly you didn't resolve anything, because we can see it all in your face that there's something else that happened that made you choose these two. So yeah, I get it. You're trying to stay low and trying to keep your gameplay, like, to yourself and to you and Kiki and to the rest of the people who know. But bro,
Mhm.
like, there's a reason why, like, you be like here with it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't be at the top of these people list, and you're not at the complete bottom,
Mhm.
but you're staying right here for a reason, because they can just play you at any time, and you're like, damn,
Mhm.
what the fuck did I do? Like, I feel like Darrell is gonna get something coming this season. I don't know what, and I feel bad because I love Darrell, but I feel like something is
That's
gonna come this season where it's just like,
me too. That's the thing, because Darrell was my favorite player growing up watching the show. But I can't stand how he come back and just kind of like ride the middle and just like try and just get by. I don't like that because but I can see why he does it because they all know that he's a threat in the final. But I be wanting him to make a bigger move, do something a little bit more ballsy, stand on that shit. But Danny's delivering what I want from Darrell. Danny play that game how I would play that game. He don't want none of that fake shit. He don't want none of them stupid conversations. Get out my way. Let me get my money so I can get back home to Kiki. That's literally him.
right.
It's really funny little quick about Kiki. We're recording this right now, but she hasn't watched it. I don't know, she hasn't really live tweeted the episode. So I'm like, I'm gonna use Danny's tweets later on. But
At least one of them tweeted something.
yeah. But it was like just seeing Darrell's face while he was saying all that. I'm like, sir, please stop. You look so confused. But I'm like, you know what you're doing. It's just fix the face, and you'll be okay. Because they knew something was up with why they chose him. He just was like, I'm gonna give it to myself. Be good. But sir, no, we're not doing that. You can't just say something and it's like, hey, I'm just gonna keep it mute. I need you to say it and say it with your chest. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You have OG. You're an OG vet. You can do this, okay?
OG, triple OG, okay? Like the OG, triple OG. Come on now. Stop playing with OG.
Done won 4 challenges too. Like, come on. Stand on it. I'll be walking around there like Wesley walking around here. If I have 4 on under my belt, you can't tell me shit.
Right. Like, do you know who I am?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Ben and Casey said they got to be 10 steps ahead of the USA Alliance because they're like, we're out for blood. No, y'all don't do nothing. The Casey don't do nothing on this show. So how y'all become going to our people? Like, what are you going to give us? Nothing.
That's like what Jordan said. Jordan said a couple of weeks ago. I forget what episode it was, but he said something talking about maybe that was the first episode of the season, talking about the legends coming to play, and they come to run stuff down and like scheme and stuff. Like, y'all don't play the game. Like on the main show, y'all literally just get the rookies out and then stay with the same people every single season. Come back each season, and we see the same people at the end of the game because y'all don't want to play against each other. Y'all want to play with each other, but y'all don't play the game no more. Like, shut up.
Exactly. I feel like because they're getting a dose of their own medicines. Like early on, Jordan was coming after those vets. Wes was coming after those vets, like I said. The same with Nelson, the same with Corey. Like, these people were coming after the vets and they were playing the game, which made it more interesting and made it more like dramas. Like, oh, like, like this person is shaking the table. Now y'all just sitting at the table eating dinner and y'all just holding hands. Like, it's not equaling up. So I just need like Danny, like Sarah, like all of those guys who are making this interesting. I need that to continue because that's what's giving the show what it needs. And also the conversation between Tori, Casey, and Amber. I just wish Amber would just release her shackles of being around Casey, because Casey does not like you. She don't fuck with you in either way, shape, or form. And taking any kind of advice from her or Tori is literally just giving yourself ammo to go home back to Chauncey to have that damn baby that you were pregnant with. Like, that's what is happening here. And I'm just like, girl, I don't need you to talk to none of these people ever again in your life. Even though you see them at the house, Don't talk to them. Don't look in their direction. None of it.
Facts. I'm so glad you said that because that whole scene pissed me off. It's like you done been with these girls for 4 seasons straight, and they still did the same shit to you, and you still gonna sit here and talk to them and take advice. I would literally look at Casey and keep it. I would keep it moving. I'd try my best to get her out of there as soon as possible, and I would not stop until she's gone. Like I'd be scheming and everything. And that's the thing with Amber. She's too nice.
Yeah, very too nice. And also the fact that Tori was the one that was going around that damn house talking about, oh, you can't trust Amber. And Amber is like being all like, hey, yeah, I'll listen to you. No. And you know they be saying this. Why are you trying to know? If that, and I feel like I'm about like Amber. I like to be nice people. But if I know someone's talking about me, I know I'm keeping an eye on you. I'm gonna entertain this conversation. I'll keep my back pocket. But I'm not gonna say, oh, hey, yeah, I hear you. I can work with you. I'm not doing that.
But even entertaining it, I feel like is giving it more life and just making them feel more comfortable and making, like, even though she's trying to make them comfortable and seem like, she's playing the game, Amber just needs to not speak to them at all. Like, I feel like the way they have treated her and the way that they have gone about it, and even after the show, things that they have said and just being so rude and like nasty, I just feel like you don't need to talk to these people like at all. Like, just distance yourself from them. And especially because of the whole thing that happened with Troy, like I said last week, Troy is like Darrell in the Aussie side. Amber and like they're the same team, Darrell and Kiki and Amber and Troy. So I feel like you don't need to be talking to anybody on the USA side at this point because they don't like you. And I feel like the whole like underlying problem that I'm like noticing with this season, even though I like it, is the partners are so distant from each other and what their gameplay is that what is going to happen at the end, because somebody is going to have to win, and compromise is going to have to be more settling than compromising with your partner. So who's going to win out on each other? I don't know. Like, that's where I'm like, this is going to get really like sticky and tricky how this game's going to get played. You know what I mean?
For sure. Especially the likes of Danny and Tori get to the end. And it's like, but just to piggyback on what you just said there, I don't know why. I don't know how. I don't know if she's not catching it. But me in general, I know when somebody don't like it. You don't even have to say it. I can feel it. I can see it. I can just see it. I can see it all over your body. But maybe that's because of me. Because if I don't like somebody, I can't be around you. I can't fake it. Like, you're going to see it all over my face. So with Amber, it's just like, why is she not catching it? Especially when she already saw it on 3-4 seasons of the show that has aired already. It's like, piece it together. But then I know that she came out with her autism and stuff, like social, I guess it was like social anxiety or something like mixed into it. But I don't know if that's contributing to it, but maybe it is. But I just wish she would realize, like, you can coexist, but fuck all that. Like, go hang out with Danny and let him teach you how to move in this game, because the way he moves is the way she needs to be moving. Like, because she can beat these girls. It's like, you don't even need to talk to them, because if they get an elimination with you, you know you can win, and you know they ain't touching you in the final. So why are you up in here kissing in their face and playing games with them that you don't need to be playing? It drives me crazy.
And but also Amber just said she was like, I'll vote for our Aussie team just to save me and Troy at the end. I'm like, I get it, because her and Troy are on the outskirts of what Grant and Emily got going on. It was our division because they was running the team. They were talking to Troy, but probably not talking to Amber. So if y'all not gonna keep her, she's gonna throw y'all to the wolves. Which I get it, because they treating them like the redheaded stepchild. For what?
Right.
And we get into the daily challenge, which is called Rocket Man. Shout out to Elton John, because that just reminded me of him. This challenge and one team member will begin on one end of a giant airbag while the other is on a platform above it. The partner on the platform will jump on the other side to launch a partner over 3 crossbars at different heights. The more crossbars a team's clear, the more seconds are deducted from their overall time. This challenge, I feel like it was very I liked it, but seeing the different falters in some people, I'm like, this is not great for some of y'all. But yeah,
I don't know how I felt about this one. I feel like I liked it a little bit, but then I feel like it's like because the whole like flip. I don't know. I guess they just tried to find a way to make it a little bit different with the jumping onto that thing and then flopping them up in the air. But I don't know. I don't know how I felt about this mission at all. I really don't know. But there were some people that stood out.
yeah. And then once they got into the water, the pairs would have to swim to separate platforms to collect the puzzle piece and get it to shore to solve the puzzle. The team with the fastest overall time will win, and the slowest team will go straight to elimination. They really breezed through a lot of the teams, so I'm just going to talk about the ones that we got more airtime for in this challenge. But we started off with Jordan and Kaz for the group. They completed. Kellyanne and Tristan, I would say Kellyanne gracefully got over that top bar, even though she kind of, like, she did that. I love that for her. They did really well with their time. Kellyanne was like worried, like, oh, if I swim better than Emily, that's in the back of my mind. I'm good.
Kellyanne is a crackhead, and I love it. Like she's so crackheadish, and it's great TV. Like the way she's been acting this whole season, I feel like she's low key started.
Oh my god, she is definitely neurotic. She is insane, like I said. But I love Kellyanne because I feel like she's just being authentically herself. Like she just can't help it, and so like she's just putting it all out there, and I love it. I love it. Thank you, Kellyanne, because it's entertaining as hell.
And she wants to win. She ain't here for that. Like, I want to see you. Like she said, I think she said on the first episode. She's like, a lot of y'all just want these people, the stronger people, to stay here, but I want you to go home. I probably shouldn't say it, but I want you to go home. I'm like, that's why I like you, because you gonna say it. That's what you need to say. Like, fuck them.
Facts.
And Janae and Grant were next. Grant missed the whole X on the airbag by a lot. And he ended up on the side of the airbag. He was in the crevice of the big part and that little mini part of the airbag, struggling. But he said, oh, my knees messed it up, and he made sure he got his butt through that water swimming and finished the puzzle. But he was in pain.
He put on for my name.
Oh yes, I forgot. Her name was Grant. Like, see, I literally disassociating the two of you. But honestly, I mean, where was he going? Like, this is where I was so confused because he jumped off of it, like to the side already. Like his body was contorted to the side. I'm just like, my brother, it's a big black X, like literally right in front of you. That all you need to do is just step off and jump onto. Like you didn't need to go anywhere. You didn't need to do any tricks or dips or whatever you was trying to do. Like right there on the X. That's it. And the way Janae didn't go absolutely nowhere had me cracking up. Like she literally just put her hands in the air like she was like a little child going down a slide or something. It was so funny to me.
Right.
Because the way that Janae like got off of there, it was just like boom, like it wasn't anything.
She didn't go nowhere.
And so Grant ended up going to the medic. He had felt hypertension in his knee. Went to the hospital. They showed, obviously, Sarah and Theo. Theo had tweeted that on his, they edited out like his part where he jumped off of it, did a flip into the water. And I'm just like, he's like, oh, y'all don't want to see fun anymore? This is a 40-minute show. We ain't gonna see everything. And they don't want to see that.
And Theo's disappointing me too, because he's been kind of playing the field. Like Theo normally on the show is king of the mess. And that's the thing too that I hate. when the people like him who was online begging to be on the show, you finally get back on the show and then you don't deliver. Like we're
Bring
on like episode
nothing.
7 right
You
now.
bring nothing. Why did you come back? Like, why?
Frustrates me. I'm like, that's why I hate whenever they have them characters like him that go away, and then when they come back, they're not as rough around the edges. It's like they mature. Of course, it's good to mature as a person, but we on reality TV, we don't want to always see mature people. We want to see the immature ones, the ones that don't care about what they look like on TV. And I feel like the same thing was like with Melissa, the one that the blonde girl from the UK, when she was on the show, when she was fighting Kayla, and they let her not come back for a while. When she came back, she kind of was tame. I don't want to see that. That's what Theo is. I don't want to see that. And Theo is an athlete, like a track star. And I don't feel like he's performing super well either. He's not standing out in terms of performance. So I don't know. It's frustrating.
Yeah. So I'm like, sir, I mean, you haven't been giving us much, but he gave us some talk back with Danny later on in the episode. But that was it. He's been mute and he hasn't performed as well thus far. Then we got to Justine and Bananas. I'm gonna give Justine her tens because she was the only person to fully clear all those bars in the air because she didn't touch that top one. We've seen people get over it and touch that one. She gracefully got over that last one, and I was like, "That's my girl."
I love Justine. Like
Love.
she can't do no wrong with me. I just wish she wasn't stuck with Bananas. Her and Danny would have been a team.
Exactly. I so wish that her and Danny were a team because they would have ate these people up. Like, just completely dominated.
Yeah, like if they hadn't had to be with a legend, that would have been a dope ass team. But because people, I don't like that she had to have Mayans as one of her top people would be her partner. But it is what it is. It is funny because like Mayans was like, oh, like she was swimming like Michael Phelps, but she told him that she didn't, she couldn't swim. But
I love that because you know how I feel about Black people getting on the show, not being able to
And can't
swim,
swim.
and they are like drowning. Like, what's the bald head shorty from last season or the USA season that really blew mine? Whatever her name was. She got,
Oh, Cache.
yes. Bro, she blew mine the whole season because every time she would get in the water, she could not go anywhere. She wasn't even doggy paddling. She was just out there like fighting for her life. Don't get on the show if you can't swim. Like there's certain like elements of this show that you already know are going to be needed. You're gonna need to know how to swim. You need endurance to run. You need to lift some weights. You need to have mentally be prepared to be in some shit with these people because shit may go down. Like you need to just check off some boxes on yourself to know before you go on a challenge and not just try to get a TV check because that's not gonna work. And Justine just comes to play the game, but she knows exactly what she's doing. And I love that for her because she's representing well.
She's a D1 athlete too. She plays soccer. I know the athletic sports. Like when I hear somebody has done it, I gotta go see it. But yeah, she plays sports too. So it's like a lot of that's the thing that I like about most of the cast. Most of these people here either have played a sport or shockingly are just naturally athletic. Like you look at Zara and you look at Kiki, Darrell's partner. I didn't think I was gonna like her at all, but I really like her. Like in terms of like politicking, she's doing better than Darrell. I feel like she, in a way, is kind of like like when you see the shift in power. I feel like she's the one controlling that duo the most for me. But she won too. Apparently, she won her other season.
She did win her season on Australia. Her and Troy, which is like the two least assuming people from that cast that you would think that would win the show. So that comes to just show like how they play their game. Like that's saying something.
Yeah, and speaking of Troy, he hit the inflatable, but he didn't hit the X, and he rolled off. But he managed to at least get the swim down. And they completed the puzzle. Just seeing him roll off the inflatable just had me weak. Like he didn't hit the X, but he managed to at least get the swim. And I was like,
Yeah.
this is not great, but it made it work.
Right.
And Benha jumped on and rolled off as well. Like people are just jumping on and rolling off. I'm like, okay, this might just be a strategy. I don't know, but it's working.
Mm. Right.
And then it was time to see the Olympic swimmer and Emily go and do this challenge of Yes. Um, but Yes only got to the second bar because he was the one on that other end. Um, and they were like, oh, that didn't work, so we're gonna try and make up some time. Since like Emily's like, we got like 30 seconds, I could do this, I could make up time for us. And she was showing out, everybody was like very shocked and very excited to see her in her element. And people just like, yeah, yay, Emily, go ahead, I'm impressed. What y'all expect? This is a Olympic swimmer.
Right. She a dog. Like she was swimming. Like
No,
I was like, okay.
she did do like amazing. Like I was like watching her and like the way she was just flowing in the water. I'm like, nah, she really do this like in real life type shit. Like this is
Mhm.
her jam. Like this is her element
Mhm.
right here. And I just felt so bad for Yes because I absolutely love Yes, but he
Me
looked like he was
too.
struggling. Okay, he couldn't even. After he got the puzzle piece, he was just like out of breath. He couldn't like really get to the second. Like Shorty had to go back in the water to get the puzzle piece. She went back. Then she had to go back and double back to get him. Like it was a lot
Right.
happening in that whole situation. And I was just like, I don't know how much time that this happened in, but I feel like if Yes was able to keep up with her in like
They would have
swimming, not
won.
even all the way, but like just a little bit, if he was able to just keep up with her just a small tad, then they would have probably, did better than
Won.
what I expected.
I think they would have won. Possibly.
Yeah, just time wise. But we have our losers, and that happened to be Johnny and Grant. And we had two top teams that were separated by only 1 second with Kellyanne and Tristan and Kaz and Jordan. But of those two teams, Kellyanne and Tristan are our winners. And they now have power to
Love it.
choose who goes against Janae and Grant.
I love
I
that the
love it.
tables have turned for
Me
Kellyanne
too.
because she needed this. Okay, like the past couple of weeks have been a struggle for her. Her name has been put up. She's been in the eliminations. She's had betrayals, and so now she has the opportunity to put someone in elimination who put her in, number one, and number two gets to choose her demise. Which I was like, I'm glad that Kellyanne is getting back this lick back in this way so early too, because sometimes it just doesn't
Yeah.
happen and you never
Mhm.
see it. But she did get it back. Like she got it back in blood or in water, however you want to look at it.
Right. I see what you did.
And she said, like, people treat you differently when you're on top because she was having a ball. People were jumping on her and Tristan when they got back at their house. Like, yay, yay. Okay, well, y'all, you going in. You gonna
Right.
see.
I'd have been stiff
And
on me.
yeah. And then Tori pulled Danny and Sarah for a chat about nominations. But then I was like, hey, oh, y'all talking? I'm gonna come outside too. I wanna be part of this. And Tori was saying that she's not voting for Ben and Casey, but Nana's and Jordan. That it's an Ozzy team up for grabs, along with Jody and Benha, because she was like, hey, I want to weaken Danny's alliances. And Bananas came out and tried to tell Sarah, like, hey, I've made mistakes. You know, he's trying to like be like, I made mistakes before, trying to be forward thinking. What you doing is not good for you. So you need to reevaluate that. It was being very condescending and rude. And Miss Sarah had to let him know that you're not
She
about to
was
talk
so
to me like
mad at
that.
it. She wasn't going for none of that shit. Sarah said, "Let me check you real quick. You might think you can do this because of what you've been doing with these other rookies, but I ain't them other rookies. Like, I'm a different type of. She a crackhead too. Like, she probably on meth or some shit. Like,
No,
Sarah
for
Lucina
real.
is crazy.
For real. The way her eyes look, like she real police in real life. Like I could see how she really out there policing these streets, okay? Because she be looking crazy. But
For
I
real.
do like the fact that she did stand up for herself. Like this season, Danny, Sarah, Justine, all of those, like that team USA, those MVPs, they're really
Mm-hmm.
standing up for themselves against these people, which is much needed on the main show because we don't see that happening often. But
Yes.
I just don't like the fact that Tori and Danny are going against each other and they're on the same team. Like y'all are not
Yeah.
splitting, like y'all are not splitting up at any point to go against each other in the final. Y'all have to win the
Mm-hmm.
final with each other. Like y'all are splitting the bread with each other. And if I'm trying to get money with somebody, I'm not trying to keep going back and forth with you about who I want to choose and who I don't want to choose, and I gotta side with your ex, and I gotta like this is not adding up for me, y'all. I'm sorry. Like I like it because it's chaos, and I love chaos on television because that's what I'm watching. But honestly, how is this gonna work long term with these two beefing with each other, and they can't really do anything because they're really on the same team?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing too, because it's like I see where you're coming from too, but for TV purposes, I love when Danny just be going against anything she got to say, especially when she always trying to find a way to make sure that Jordan is not being targeted. And it's like, why are y'all still on this same type of energy from the past? Because then they filmed this. They filmed this after the last show that they just did, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
right after.
this is probably filmed in October or something like that. Like literally right after 38 was over. So Tori had just won. Her and Jordan had just went through that whole debacle with him and
Narice.
Trey Songz
Nurse.
Shorty. Yes. Why I blank on her name? I'm sorry. Narice. I'm blanking on everybody's name today. But yeah.
Wait, it's you calling her Trey Songz Shorty. It's me calling her Nurse, and then Grant just said her actual name.
But we all come to
Look,
the same conclusion. The same little Dominican shorty we was talking about. We all talk about the same person.
hey, she get
But
around.
okay, I could have said a few other
Pass
names there.
around.
Um,
Right.
but regardless, I feel like with all that Tori and Jordan coming off of that drama from last season and her winning, like they didn't need to continue this storyline onto the Paramount show because they're honestly trying to um make this feasible for CBS viewers. And CBS viewers don't care about this crap that she got engaged to, and like they don't care about this storyline that y'all keep trying to bring back up. And we
For
don't care as
real.
people who watch the main show. So at some point we gotta dead this. Like it has to end.
Man, when Emily and Sarah was popping shit about their engagement that episode. Man, I was getting my life. That shit had me weak.
not her laughing so much that she just got out the thing. but that just blew me. Like when she last week when she said I would never vote for your fiance in the game. I'm like, ma'am, we don't care. My fiance is not gonna be here. Why would they be here? My fiance is not a Jordan. I'm not friends with that man. You are.
Exactly.
Welcome back, Alicia.
Thank you.
I know you don't
I got so excited and then I had to just leave real quick. Like honestly, my computer was over me.
So that's how that little conversation happened. That didn't work out in Bananas and Tori's favor, obviously, and we got to nominations, where Amber decided to start the vote. And she spoke up and she was like, hey, the only team that hasn't spoken to me from our Aussie group has been Emily and Yes. So I'm just going to put my vote on y'all because y'all not rocking with what I'm rocking with. And Emily was very confused on why she threw that shot at her. I'm like, well, the facts are true. You have not talked to Troy.
Emily, ma'am. Like the Little Mermaid blew my this whole episode too because why she was acting dumb about them not really fooling her. When like literally the first episode and the first opportunity she got, she went against somebody from the Aussie side on the low and put her up in elimination as collateral on her
Mm-hmm.
team. Like, who is she fooling? Like, I don't know if she knew that we weren't gonna see that part, or like that was like something was gonna happen where she was not gonna get caught. But it's the confusion on her face for me that really just blew mine, because it's like, girl,
Mm-hmm.
the first opportunity you put the winner of your season on to
Mm-hmm.
collateral into the elimination, and she came back. Like, now what would have happened if she, like, Emily,
She
ma'am.
would have started. She would have started the whole chain effect, just like they did with the Argentinian people. Like they got them out back to back to back. If she would have went
Exactly.
home, she would have probably been gone by now.
Yeah. And then we saw that Ben and Casey put the burden Troy's ear about the group saying, "Oh, we're gonna put them in with Jordy and Benha." Ben, you are shisty. You are not slick. We were going to feed the receipts, and you don't look good. You cannot. What are you doing? This is really your game you playing, and that's how you went Survivor. But sir, you are. This is not likable, and this is not a straightforward game. You're just being shisty.
Mm-hmm. It's the best way to describe him. He a shiesty ass nigga. I can't stand him.
He
Ooh,
needs to have on that little Pooh Shiesty mask instead of that cowboy hat, because that's what he is
right.
at this point. Like, just over there getting people, just like sticking the people up. Okay.
Thanks. Literally.
And then Amber's other vote was for Sarah and Theo because Sarah and Emily are besties. So that was her vote. Tori said she didn't want to vote after them because she didn't know what her and Danny's vote was going to go for. Um, and then Theo had to pipe up and said, "Y'all just vote. Just vote." And I was living for Danny versus Theo because,
I was gonna say, Daddy
listen,
shut him down. He
he
said,
was
"Is
like,
you the
"You."
governor?"
He was like, "Don't tell me what to do, okay? You,
Yeah,
if
Danny
you
is
want to
like,
go."
Danny's like, listen, I only got one person that I answer to, and she is not here at the moment. So all of you
Exactly.
hoes could pipe down. And I freaking love that, because he's absolutely right. Like, I honestly, Sarah and Danny didn't need to go next. Like, to be honest, they really didn't have to go next. It wasn't like
No.
this is something where it's in order, it's being chosen,
Uh-huh.
and everyone has to go at this, specific time. Like, the next person
Exactly.
could have really would have went. Like, he could have said something instead of having to go at Danny. Like, it just seemed unnecessary. And honestly, again, it's a split in between USA teams and the teams in general, because of course Sarah's not going to go at Danny. Why is her partner going
Mm-hmm.
at Danny? Like,
Right.
that whole situation right there just didn't sit right with me, because it's like, bro,
Stupid.
mind your business.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, if you ain't gonna do nothing about it, shut up. Like you said, shut the hell up and do something about
I was
it.
like, this is why Danny has gotten my stand card this season even more because I liked him already because he got that win last season all by himself. He was by himself in droves.
I
He played his
mean,
own game.
nobody was
This
there, but still, like, he got
Right.
the win. He got the win. I'm not gonna put too much sauce on it, but he still
Yeah.
got the win. You know what I mean?
but he didn't win but at least he didn't win by default. He was just ahead of everybody
True.
else.
I
Yeah.
mean, essentially, he did win by default because everybody just quit.
That's true. But
Yeah.
I love that we getting to see this though, because on Survivor, I ain't gonna say he was like this on Survivor, but we didn't get to see him really. We didn't get to really see Danny like this on Survivor. I guess it was too many personalities on there. But once he got on the USA show and then on here, it's like he in the right space to really show who he is and showcase that. But yeah, I love him on the challenge. Like he's one of the people that should have been on the challenge for a long time ago. But yeah, he doing what he's supposed to do.
Yeah. I feel like after I just want to see him and Fessy go at it. I feel we're gonna get.
He will humble the shit out of Fessy, and I will be sitting here right here watching it every week.
First of all, it would be an actual NFL athlete,
Okay.
you know, versus somebody who shoulda, woulda, coulda. But also, I just think that between Fessy, like, it's no competition. Like, Fessy swears he's that person, and he's really not. Like, he's really not Danny. Like, Fessy really thinks he's what Danny is. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's really crazy to see like how Danny has been able to maneuver the past season and a half so far of him being on, and Fessy has done like 3-4 seasons at this point and has done absolutely nothing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And they voted for, I think they did Jordan and Cass and Jody and Benha, just because they were going to vote, Brenda voted vote on Jordan and Cass. Yes, and Emily voted for Troy and Amber and Jordan and Cass. Cass and Jordan voted Jody and Benha, and Emily. Yes, abundance of people pinned their votes on Jody and Benha, Emily, and Yes. Um, Sarah and Theo, they put one of their votes on Amber and Troy. Jody and Ben Howard turned a favor to Theo and Sarah. And Bananas voted with consensus, obviously. It was looking like Jody, Benha, and me, and Yes, as our two groups to go into nominations for the winners. And John A was like in flux. Like, okay, this is what happens. I'm
Mm-hmm.
might not go in. I might go in because Grant is hurt. We'll see. And she's like, I just still want to compete. If like he was here, he would still want to compete. So yeah,
Mm-hmm. That's
yeah,
I don't like seeing nobody go out like that, especially the ones I like. Because I like Johnny and I like Grant too. Because Grant, I wasn't expecting much out of him. That's the thing, though. I don't know. I don't think I was expecting too much from the people that weren't from the U.S. But I don't know for what reason, but I just wasn't. But I like how he was popping shit in his confessionals too. Like he was one of the ones that was not going for nothing that they was going for, and it's just refreshing to see that type of character on these shows now. They just need to take a couple of these people that they have on here and just throw them on the main show. Like him, get him on there. Zara, get her on there.
Exactly.
Like I need it. Sarah, Danny, get them on there.
Yeah. And which I feel like they're not going to because
Of course
of
not.
the crossover. But it's just like this is what we need on the show when y'all cast these rookies. Like we need people who are gonna stir the pot and not be lapdogs essentially and just sit down and roll over and let these people just run their lines how they usually do. But Grant is
Mm-hmm.
definitely one of the ones who I was like, okay, he can be strong, especially being paired with Janae, who's won the last couple of seasons of her All-Star show. Like I'm like, all
Mm-hmm.
right, this seems like this can be a very strong team moving forward.
Yep.
And I just wish he would have been able to been healthy because that kind of just robbed them of the whole season. It was just like over for them.
yeah.
Right.
And once we got to the arena, he brought out the losers of Grant and Janae. Grant came out just crutches and bandage and all. We knew at the point that this is not going to be a nation, and Grant is medically DQ'd. And the nominated teams were actually safe this week, so we don't get another nomination.
Which kind of sucks. I wish they would have just won at each
Mm-hmm.
other. The two nominated teams
Yeah.
should have just went head to head instead of having them have to choose and blah blah blah. Like just get it over with. Like let these two go at it and have one team come back and then we continue on the game. Like it's no need to delay it.
And that would have been a perfect twist too. That's the thing too. The show's twists that they add on here nowadays are not really entertaining. Like that would have been great because you got two teams where they were thinking, okay, one of us is gonna go in, one of us isn't, and then boom, let's throw this on you. They can't compete, so guess what? Now you both are in here, and you both gonna go at it now, and that would have made good TV. But I guess these producers don't want to make good TV no more.
No,
Sigh, heavy sigh.
Crazy.
bombastic side eye.
For real.
And so that's the end of the episode. That's how we ended. Like it's kind of anticlimactic because we got a DQ medically,
Mm-hmm.
but overall, it's a good episode. More back and forth. Ben
Yeah.
is still a snake, which we're gonna get into these tweets. Normally we have Kiki retweets as the opening part of the tweets from the week, but because we haven't seen Kiki surface about this episode, we're gonna get Danny retweets from his thoughts on the episode. And then we'll get into some of the other tweets that I found online. So Danny's first tweet: love the episode. Everyone. Well, most people are playing the game now. Ben is a snake, but he's playing. I respect that. Next week is going to be good.
Let's see.
He ain't lying. He is a snake, but he is playing the game. I will agree with that.
And the next one is also crazy to me that Johnny doesn't understand why Grant may not like him or be upset with him. Maybe don't make fun of the guy that's hurt and about to leave the game. Because Johnny didn't make that slide of remark at Grant.
Which for as much shit as I give Johnny, because I really don't like him in general, like as a person.
Right.
He be funny at sometimes. Like him and Nani, like him picking at Nani was funny to me last season. Him saying this little joke to Grant was like, "Hurry up, we don't have all night," or whatever the hell he said. Like, I feel like that's funny. Like that's just lightening up the mood, because now you see Grant coming in, you already know he's not going to be able to compete, and you know they're going home. It just lightens up the mood a little bit, you know?
Yeah, for real.
And then there's another tweet that Danny had tweeted. He said, "People lying on these podcasts again. SMH." He lied for the entire episode because he played a clip of Ben talking on a challenge podcast with, I don't know who hosted this episode this week, but he's talking about how him and Danny were talking. We're not talking. Sorry. And then Danny posted a clip of what happened on the show, and them talking about the plans. And it's like, Ben, were y'all talking or not talking? What's the truth?
They were clearly talking. Like, obviously they were talking. And at one point, Ben says, hopefully you have my back. And Danny says, of course, no problem. Of course, that's a no-brainer, right? And then the next 2-3 minutes edited in, Ben is like throwing his ass under the bus, and all of a sudden you have what we have now. So it's like, yeah, Ben, we see your game, we see what you do. Like it's like, stop trying to lie to us. I just hate the people who just get on the show and just think that we're not putting context clues together and we're not watching it.
And the tape don't lie either. Like, we see the footage. The footage is there. Like, they're gonna show the receipts, and it's there. The next tweet from the general public: I just know Bananas is tired of women named Sarah coming for his ass.
That's another Sarah I don't like. I didn't like Sarah either. Like, I didn't like her, and I didn't like Banana. So I don't like him. But when he took that money from her, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was cracking the hell up. Just like when Ashley took that money from Hunter.
It's just white on white crime.
Exactly. That's why it's always gonna be funny to me. But like when Ashley took that money from
Hunter, like Ashley was
called me a slut and threatened my family. I'm taking the money. That shit, I'm out. But that's who needs to be. Why is she not on the show anymore? It's like
because she came at Josh, and she had said some anti-gay, verbiage, and just tossed a lot of things at Josh, and producers didn't like it. And Josh hasn't even been on this season or the past season, so I just find it funny that she wasn't even invited. Yes, thank God. But honestly, I don't know how long they're going to give her a quote unquote break, because they seem to do this a lot with a couple of different people. We've seen it. Jordan just came back. We've seen a couple. Bananas just came back. We've seen a couple of people who take breaks because they got a little heat on them, because people are realizing who they actually are at their core, and they're not great people. And so I don't know. Ashley is cool, but when she gets drunk, like, she's a different person. So that's what she probably needs to take control of and try to get her way back into the house, because she can definitely win it and take everyone's money at the end of the day.
Sure
Yeah.
can. I agree.
I love Melanie Mitchell. I can take the crazy on TV
When
because
she
it.
when she gets there, she is entertaining. Like when she don't go too far and cross that line, she is hilarious. She cracks me
Mhm.
up. Like when she was making fun of Maddie in one of them seasons, talking about go back to jail. That shit would have me like that's some good TV. Like she sat there and said it so calm, like bitch, go back to jail. That's what you need.
Yeah.
Love Ashley.
Speaking of people who don't give us something or not, the next tweet is I'm fired up and they are going to regret saying our names. Are you? She's so
Who's the
boring.
dad?
I hate her.
Who's the
Furniture.
dad? Oh,
The
of
futon.
course. Casey. KZ with the
Like
Z.
literally, no one even remembers anyone said your name. Like, bro.
For real. Like she gonna
At
do
this
something. She
point,
gonna do
it's
shit.
like, yeah, you're like the fact that she even got so much airtime this week just blew my mind because it's like, bro, you're not gonna do anything. You're not giving anything. Neither you or your partner. And honestly, at some point, I just can't wait to see how y'all go home.
Right.
Like,
Right. Should have brought her brother on here so she could go home early.
Hey, that
go
man
home
didn't
and be
give
a
us a
family man, please. That's what she wants to do. Go home and be a family man, please.
Literally. Go take care of Nani and them teeth. I'm so sick of her too. And they talk about she's supposed to be on season 2 of the USA. They better not put them teeth on their
They
show.
better not. They better not.
I can't
Just
do it.
ruining it even more, please. I can't.
Shout out to Gamer Sheep. Well, they put out the first tweet, the cast red photo thing, and I'm like, okay, I need to see who is leaving soon, but we'll get to that at another time.
Wait, so they
But
already put it out?
no, the list isn't out yet, but they started the thread, and
thread.
people
Okay.
are excited because they leave tomorrow.
USA is a new show. I like the USA. I like it way better than the main show.
Yeah.
Same.
Okay, the last tweet. If I'm Darrell, the answer is very simple. Ben, you're making waves during deliberation and trying to separate my country's alliance. I didn't appreciate it. That's all you have to say.
Duel ain't gonna say it though.
I know.
Yeah, Darrell isn't gonna do that. So
it's a mute
what do you
point.
expect?
Mm-hmm. I want Darrell back that will throw them hands. Like the one that busted the shit
The
out
one
of
that
Brad's
busted
eye.
Brad? Yeah. We need that Darrell back. Bring back
I
that
need him
Darrell.
back.
Who really just kept like dot. Okay, dotting eyes. Okay, crossing some T's.
Okay. Like give me dad jokes and give me some fire, okay? Because he's just been giving us dad jokes.
Yeah, him and them confessionals are always gonna deliver. That's always gonna be A1. But I need Pow Darrell back.
Same.
In the absolute last week, we just talked about her. This is the most character development that Casey has had in her 9 appearances on the show. That's it.
She been on the show 9 times?
No, but it's been a while. It's been a long time. She's on here essentially.
It do feel like she's been here forever. And that's because she don't worn out her welcome. She don't worn out her welcome.
What?
Doing that many seasons back to back is crazy to me. Like I don't understand how they be doing that. Like
the
made
money,
this whole reality show. Yeah,
like they literally make this their personality, their life, their check,
job.
like their job. This is their job now. They literally go on reality TV, get an appearance fee, try to win some money, and do the same thing, rinse, rather, and repeat.
Like somebody said last week that like she blew through her money when she won. I don't know if she did. Yeah, but she won the challenge. Like you come back, okay, you want to make a family with Nani. Where's the money you won with? You can do that.
True.
Yeah, but there is taxes.
True, and that probably knocked it to like
which is half the money because her and CT have to split the money, right? Because she went with CT on CT's coattail, so they have to split that money. So that's $250.
Didn't they split it with the cast too?
Then they split it with the cast, so that was the extra whatever it was. I think it was three different people they split it with, like whatever the
I
amount
wish
was that
I
they split
would.
it. So it's like she probably just went home with maybe six figures, less than
100K.
six figures. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe
and then with
100K.
taxes. So she really just had a working family's day. Like she really, like, not to shade, but she really just is middle class and out here. That's
She should have
she ain't
been.
really doing much.
They should have blacklisted. They should have blacklisted her after that. I wish I would go through a whole 3 months of the show, win the show. I'm not sharing no money with none of y'all. Like, what is? And then they did that this year too. I
Yeah,
can't
keep the
like everybody
tradition
that is
going.
willing to do that. Yeah, everybody that's willing to do that, don't come back. We don't want to watch that. That's not exciting. That's
So
not
you don't want to see
entertaining.
the next season them give 39,000 instead of 38,000 for
No,
the 39th season?
right?
Please.
Shit.
But that's a wrap.
That's a
Yeah.
wrap.
I feel like
Good
next week is
episode.
gonna give more. I feel like Danny's just gonna continue to deliver. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited to see how really their relationships keep like separating, but they have to literally come together to win the season because they can't
Yeah.
do without each other. And so I want to see who's the first person to go from this USA team, because it's just like somebody's gonna, like, the cracks are already there with that team,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody's gonna slip up, and I want to see who it's gonna be. And some of these other
Mm-hmm.
teams are a little, coasting under the radar. I like Jody and Benha. I wish that they can stay to continue on. Like I said, I like Kellyanne and Tristan. Um, Jordan and Cass could go, actually, because I don't really like Jordan Cass.
And
She's so cool,
Cass,
but I don't really don't.
I've
She's
seen videos of her boxing, and like you look at her, she could fight. And I don't know why she's so boring. Like I'd be forgetting she even on the show, and then she win herself.
She did win her show, and I don't know. She's bringing absolutely nothing. Maybe,
Disappointing.
yeah, I don't know. She just didn't have nothing this season for them. So that's that. But we'll be back to talk more about this show next week. Thank you guys for listening. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can follow us at Duel Lions Pod. You can follow Megan at Megs and Hines. You can follow Grant. Grant, please tell us your Twitter, Instagram, all your
I
social
got too
media.
many. Twitter is.
Tell us your Finsta, whatever you want to tell us.
Twitter is, what is it? Looking for G with the number 4 G2Es. Instagram is just GT G2Es T2Es. And then I got YouTube too, Grant LaShawn. You can find me there. I think that's it. Yeah, that's
Okay.
it.
We're going to put all of that in the description bar below. You can follow my Twitter page at Ace_S5. And you can follow us on YouTube as well at Duel Lions Podcast. We'll be back next week to talk more of the challenge. Have a good week. Happy Easter. Thank you guys for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.